Hello and welcome. This is the Abbreviated West Virginia University Football Podcast at earsports.com. I am Mike Casazza, here to get you ready for another matchup in the Big 12. Pay attention here. Friday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN on the road against newly ranked BYU, 4-0, one of the 20 remaining undefeated teams in the Big 12. This is a tall task and perhaps a tough ask from the Big 12 for the Mountaineers. It's a Friday game, so you take one day off the regular week. It's three time zones to the left, so you almost lose a day of travel. And this team is pretty good at home and pretty conditioned in night games, which we'll get to in a second. The Mountaineers need a win. They also need the break that follows. They need to give their reason to their fans to have some faith. And what do the fans need? Need a podcast about the Mountaineers. Three topics at the tip of our tongue. One starts with the W, one starts with the V, one starts with the U. Today, the W stands for Wilkins. It would seem, if we are reading the context clues properly, the redshirt freshman Khalil Wilkins is in line to be the third starting quarterback of the season and the third starting quarterback in as many weeks for the Mountaineers. That's not healthy, whether the quarterbacks in front of them are healthy or not. You want some stability in that position. The honors may go to him, though. Why do we say this? Because in his weekly news conference on Tuesday, Rich Rodriguez said that both Jalen Henderson and Max Brown were a little banged up and will be limited in practice. Kind of have to be efficient in a short week like this and sink your snaps into someone who you know is going to play. And if guys are limited, can't practice very much, if at all, very well, if at all, then you go to who's healthy, and that would be Wilkins or Scotty Fox, and who was going to get the nod there based on recent performances. Who was the other guy? I forget his name. I know he was around a while. Nico Marchio started the first couple of games this year, also got pulled from the first couple of games this year. Last week, he misses the game because of a midfoot injury. He was out in Colorado to see a specialist. This week, we learned that he's been out in Arizona, according to Rodriguez, to see a specialist, and that he will miss a couple of more games. So why Wilkins? Well, he put the ball in play last time. Came off the bench against Utah, tried to spark the offense, and did that to some extent. 3 for 6 as a passer. That includes one drop, one touchdown, one big time throw in the estimation of Pro Football Focus. Also a dynamic runner. Looked good running the plays he was asked to run. 9 rushes, 39 yards, and he wasn't bailing on pass plays to scramble. All of his rushing yardage, designed quarterback runs. The V today stands for Vaughn. If the offense needs a spark and is searching one for perhaps Khalil Wilkins, and if Wilkins needs help to get the offense going, Cam Vaughn seems like a great asset to have on your side if they can incorporate him. As you've watched the games, you wonder where he's been or how the teams have taken him away. He is number 10 in the Big 12 in targets. He is number 11 in receptions. Okay numbers. What stands out to me is that he is 25th in completion percentage. 17 completions on 27 attempts. He's also number 5 in the Big 12 in contested targets. It hasn't been easy for him nearly often enough. Can Wilkins or any quarterback improve that? That is the hope. Vaughn is a pretty dynamic player when he has the ball. He can make things happen, but you have to get him the ball. Does he miss Jaden Bray a little bit? Does he miss a rapport with a quarterback who's been in there in the preseason and the regular season? Probably a little bit of everything. Can they find ways to get him going on the road against a very stingy run defense? And also, it seems like at this point right now, is a pass play a trick play? I ask you that because they were 6 for 13 as a passing offense last week. Chris had the stat in the postgame. They'd won 7 straight games when they completed 6 or fewer passes. You probably know how those games went, right? How about this? 14 straight wins with no more than 13 attempted passes. Not one of those games was close. All double digit outcomes. None of them one score games, none of them really in danger. So West Virginia not throwing the ball because they weren't behind. They weren't playing catch up, they weren't rallying. What happened? What went wrong against Utah? Have to answer that, and perhaps Cam Bond knows the answer. The U today stands for Utah, second week in a row. We're not being lazy. We're just kind of pointing out the obvious here. West Virginia played the Utes from Salt Lake City last week. They're playing the Cougars from BYU out in Provo, Utah this week. First trip to the state of Utah, though. LaVell Edwards Stadium can be a rowdy place. It's also not very hospitable at night. BYU, 6 straight wins in night games. 4-0 this season. So the Cougars are conditioned to this, West Virginia not. This is going to be one of those things you might have to get used to in the Big 12, playing night games and playing even short week games way out west. Second time BYU has had an Eastern Standard Time team come out west for a Friday night game since it joined the Big 12 in 2023. That same season, Cincinnati traveled over for a Friday night game with a 10:30 start. Scoreless first quarter, competitive in the second and third quarter, ultimately a narrow win for BYU. Much different BYU team this year, and the defense is what probably has your attention here. And let's just stick with that because we've been talking about the offense. West Virginia has had a hard time staying on the field lately. Time of possession is really low, not because of tempo, but because of plays. Can't get first downs. Number 131 in the country in third down conversion percentage offense. BYU, number 7 in the country in third down conversion percentage defense, and 10th in first downs. Rich Rodriguez wants to get 25 first downs, would prefer to avoid third downs, play CFL football, get your first downs on first and second down. Going to be hard to do. Again, stingy run defense for BYU, 76 yards per game. Maybe that's why the passing offense has to give a lift for West Virginia. And something a little bit punchier than what they have so far seen, and that would also come from pass plays. Right now, against FBS teams, West Virginia 119 in the country with .225 points per play. Takes like 28 plays to score a touchdown that way. Not good. BYU's defense is good. Number 8 in the country with .191 points per play. Stingy defense at home at night against an opponent with a short week and many questions, but possible answers on offense. We'll see how this one plays out. Friday night, 10:30 p.m. on ESPN.